Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop for another tool pick episode. And this is a group of machinist items that I picked at a house back on March 17th. And this was a Facebook Marketplace pick. A gentleman had put out a bunch of machinist tools on a table and taken a couple of photographs. And I saw enough stuff there that I thought might be worthwhile. I was actually heading out to another pick that I'm going to feature coming up. Probably in about a week, and I figured I'll just stop by and hit this one first. So when I got there, unfortunately a lot of the stuff prices were pretty high, so I ended up being able to negotiate on this little pile here and two more items, one of which was in the pictures and I couldn't tell what it was, and then when I got there I still wasn't sure what it was, but I bought it anyways, and we'll cover that. That's kind of a nice little surprise that'll be near the end. And the second item, also an interesting item, was actually on the table over to the left of where this stuff was set up that he hadn't taken a photograph of. In fact, there might be one or two things on here that weren't in the original photograph either. But so I put this pile together, we haggled back and forth, and I believe, if I recall correctly, I finally ended up getting him to take 100 for the lot. And you're going to see that right here, this isn't worth it. But wait till you see these other two items. So let's start with what I did get. This is a general parallel clamp size. So it's a 118C, so that it would be a 118 series clamp with a C size, and it looks brand new. It's really great shape. But it's a general, as opposed to this is a little bit better, because this is a Brown & Sharp, and this is a 754E. So this would be a Brown & Sharp 754 series clamp in size E. And this also is in excellent shape. Here's a couple of Morse taper adapter sleeves. I threw these in because I figured he wasn't going to expect too much money for these. These are marked the J something Glenzer Company of Detroit, Michigan. That's interesting. I never heard of that company. These look like they haven't seen much use. Handy things to have. This is one of the items I spotted in the photo, and then when I got there, unfortunately, it's not a Starrett. It's a Lufkin number 18A. And what this is this is to go on a blade like this. All right, so you can actually get this to lock onto a blade like so. And then you can take another blade and tighten it in here perpendicular to this blade and basically turn your blades into a makeshift larger square. So handy little thing to have. The Starrett ones are kind of pricey, but this is a Lufkin. Speaking of which, this is one of the things I spotted in the photo that I really hoped was going to be a Starrett 18-inch blade, because these usually bring pretty decent money. And then when I got out there, unfortunately, it ended up being it's a Lufkin. So it's a Lufkin Rule Company 18-inch blade. He did not have a Lufkin head. He had a Starrett head and a Starrett protractor sitting there with a 12-inch Starrett blade. He wanted too much money for those, but he was willing to separate this out because it's a Lufkin and he didn't have the Lufkin head. He had quite a few scales there, most of which I passed on, but when we were getting down to the nitty-gritty, I got him to throw this one in. It's a Starrett satin finish. What I like about this is that this is a 300 millimeter metric one, and I couldn't remember if I had one of these or not. If I don't, I will keep this. If I do, then no problem. I'll probably be able to resell that. Over on the other table that I hadn't seen in the photograph at all, and he was kind of surprised that I liked it, is this big old, not a fixed leg, I forgot what you call this kind of, what you call this type of joint caliper, but this is a Starrett. But what this has got going for it is that you actually have a fine adjustment here. Now I think I have a couple of these, or I've had these before and I've sold them. What I like about this one is it's an extra large one. It's larger than what you typically see, and it's a 12-inch. So I might end up keeping that one just because of the fact that it's a big 12-inch one. Then also on the other table, he had this one little tap extractor. So if you've never seen these before, the way these work, this will slide down, and these little fingers come out. If you break your tap off, you slide these fingers down in the hole along the flutes, along the flutes of the tap, and then once you get that to engage down in the hole, you can turn the top here with a tap wrench and unscrew the broken piece of tap if things go well. So I've got a set of these, and for some reason he only had just this one. And it's funny because I still have sitting on the bench here from a previous pick, I've got these three that I got. Boy, my phone is just blowing up. I got to see who this is. All right, I think we're done with the interruptions. I ended up having to take that call because for those of you who watch my channel may know that I own an old lathe made by Vernon Manufacturing, and I've decided to actually sell it. So I never thought I'd sell that lathe, only because I've actually kind of grown attached to it. But I actually found somebody who appreciates those lathes more than I do. So, all right, enough about that. And this is a nice little find here. This is a little, I'm thinking somebody sprayed this with soap. Yeah, I'm seeing the drips and everything. I think this is a much older little hand vise. And I've had a few of these and I like this style. So this allows you to clamp onto a very small piece to hold. And then you can use it as a hand vise. So say you were freehand grinding something. Or you can put a very small piece in these jaws, and then because of the nature of this as being flat, you can actually clamp this in a larger jaw. I'll probably keep that one because I don't think I have a small one like that. I have the slightly larger version of it. All right, so now let me show you the unusual thing. The first unusual thing that I spotted sitting there was this. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, well, what the heck is it? So it's got a attachment on the top here to allow you to put an indicator right on it. So I said, well, it's like an indicator stand, but I've never seen one where it really doesn't do much other than it's got a ability to move up and down a little bit like this and then be locked, almost like a collet, and swivel around. But I really like the look of, the finish on it, and the shape is cool as heck. Right? Kind of almost like an Eiffel Tower deal going here. And then I happened to notice that I could see that there was some writing on it here. But I didn't have my glasses on and I couldn't see what it said. And I didn't care. At that point, I just figured, hey, I'm going to put this in the pile and work the deal with this. Well, turns out I got a pretty good eye for things, because what this is this is a very rare Lufkin stand. This is a Lufkin 9A stand, and it's actually got a patent date on it of November of 1926. This thing is in sick condition. It is in really great shape. The last one of these that sold on eBay, and it was the only one I could find on eBay, sold for over $100 for this little sucker. So this is my saving grace right here. And now let me show you the one other item that I picked off the other table that, again, hadn't seen one like it before. Little anvil. So my first thought was, when I saw this anvil with the red paint and everything, was that this is a cheap import anvil. But I thought, hey, it's a nice handy little size to just keep on the workbench. Then I looked at it after I got home and I realized this is it's an L-I-T-T-C-O, Litco. And what it actually is it's a Littlestown foundry company anvil. Company made anvils and vices, and they're from Littlestown, Pennsylvania. And I think I've actually had a couple of their small vices that I've picked up at flea markets and that. That Littlestown, Pennsylvania kind of rings a bell. I was able to find that out because somebody at one point had one of these new old stock in the original box for sale, But unfortunately, when you go to look for the eBay listing, it was so old that it's deleted off of eBay. So I don't know what they were asking for theirs. I did see somebody has one of these up now that they're asking $100 for. I'm not quite sure if it's the same size as this. According to the listing for the one that I did find, this is an 8-pounder, which it feels about that. So I think it's right. So I think it's actually worth probably about $50. So I'll probably just end up keeping it for myself, you know, using it here in the shop. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Take care.